Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Hello, everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined, as always, by David Freedom Fiorazzo.
Yes.
We are back from a nice Independence Day break. I hope you had a lovely Independence Day. A lot of fireworks, no injuries. Everyone's got all
digits.
We're good here. Are you good over there?
Yes, we're good. We got
good.
them all.
Excellent. Well, speaking of digits, here's 2 weeks left of enrollment for our live courses at Freedom Project Academy. So don't forget to check us out. Freedom Project Academy is our K-12 Judeo-Christian online school. 2 weeks left, people. If you want your children or your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews to have a quality education. Now, all you have to do is request your free packet by going to freedomforschool.com. That's freedom, F-O-R, school.com. Well, 4th of July wasn't as good as maybe President Joe Biden wanted to.
Why?
Be. The rest of us are like, all right. Because after being rejected by SCOTUS, for those of you who don't know, that's the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yes, SCOTUS.
President Joe Biden has unveiled a new student loan forgiveness plan for nearly 40 million Americans. How will this new plan, is it part of Bidenomics, is what I'm wondering.
Yes.
How will this carry forth?
Well, first, let me ask you again, where does that money come from?
What money?
To pay off?
Money is
loans?
just numbers, and numbers don't matter because math is racist.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so the Biden administration are planning to use a generous income-driven repayment plan as its main method of easing student loan debt following the Supreme Court's ruling that blocked their plan to grant student loan forgiveness, even though God is the only one that can grant total forgiveness.
I forgive you.
Student loan forgiveness. I forgive you. I pardon you. Remember that? What movie was that? The Nazi guy in Schindler's List. I pardon you. I pardon you. So, anyway, student loan. They want to do this for nearly 40 million Americans. So the SCOTUS ruled 6-3 that the Biden administration cannot use executive power in order to cancel up to $10,000 in student loan debt for non-Pell Grant recipients and up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. Now, to circumvent, I like that word. I don't
always
often
like
have a chance
circumvent.
to use it in daily language, daily speech.
Now is the time.
To circumvent the Supreme Court's ruling, the Department of Education plans to use Higher Education Act as well as expand income-driven repayment plans, which would cut payments for those making $32,800 or less annually to zero, meaning they're making nothing?
No, meaning they're paying nothing.
They're paying nothing.
Zero. Goose egg.
Oh, according
Nada.
to All right, well,
Nada.
Before we go on, here's some of the details and the facts here. We're going to come back to this because I think it's important to hear the president's response to SCOTUS and hear if you can see if we can understand what he says.
Last year, I announced my student debt relief plan, a plan that was on the verge of providing more than 40 million Americans with real debt relief. This program was all set to begin. The website had been set up, notice had been sent out to people about the relief they were eligible for. 16 million people. 16 million people had already been approved. The money was literally about to go out the door. And then Republican elected officials and special interests stepped in. They said, no, literally snatching from the hands of millions of Americans thousands of dollars in student debt relief that was about to change their lives. You know, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans.
Literally, they snatched it. Did you see it? Did all the news media capture this? Because if they literally snatched that money right out, that would be like breaking news all over the networks. And yet it didn't happen because it literally did not happen. That's all concocted in Joe's mind. And the simple fact that it's the usual Joe Biden splur when he speaks.
Oh my goodness.
All the way until the very end. The very, very end when he says how Republicans don't want to help middle-class working Americans.
Squeeze that in.
Joe, you don't believe that. You don't know what you believe because you can't think anymore.
Well, he's just
but
reading.
none of us. Is he reading?
I think so.
Or is he being told?
Oh, it's in his ear?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
that's a good
possible.
question. I
don't
thought it
know.
was a teleprompter.
He has issues with reading. We know this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it could just be fed into his ear at this point. We don't know. We'll never know on things. We're not allowed to know.
Well, go ahead, Katie.
I was going to say, what we do know,
Yes,
is that it's all a lie. That the middle-class working Americans, the ones who are actually working, the ones who didn't go to college, maybe even, because, they're not good enough to attend these prestigious universities and be dumb enough to take out tens of thousands of dollars in loans to major in things that no one has use for. So no one will get an actual job in that. So then they will not get paid. And so then they are unable to pay back those tens of thousands of dollars, which turns into hundreds of thousands of dollars because they don't pay back the loans. And so here comes Joe Biden instead to rescue them. Oh, wait, it's us middle-class Americans who are the ones who are going to have to rescue them because they can't afford it.
Is this just going to come out of the voice of the people in the next election?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was trying to impersonate Joe.
Got it.
I'm glad there were words under there because I literally could not understand what you were saying. But to say that those darn Republicans snatched away
literally
real hope,
snatched.
Literally. And by the way, he said the money was literally
out the door.
Almost out the door.
Yeah. I don't think
so is he not using taxpayer money to buy the votes of college university kids that are in debt?
Yes, he literally
I'll
is
vote for him if he gives
doing
me,
that.
If he forgives my debt, I'll vote for him. Isn't that what this is all about? Am I being too simplistic here?
No, well, he literally is trying to appease those so he can get votes in return. This is literally what he does.
Literally.
And what the Democrats do. You get them on the hook that they owe you a vote because you give them other people's money.
OPM.
That's the whole
OPM, other people's money.
They try to circumvent the actual process.
We worked it again.
Of being responsible, getting a job, earning a wage by doing things like this. And it's not going to work. And the Supreme Court of the United States, thankfully, was smart enough to see what the law states. And it is unconstitutional because the Supreme Court, that's actually what they go off of. Did you know that? They go off of what the Constitution says. That's kind of what the Supreme Court was meant to do. And oh my gosh, they did it. So 6-3, they struck it down. Of course, the lefty liberals on the court were like, no, woe is me. They must give us all the money because I'm one of those people who took all that money. So now everyone else gets it too.
Wow.
That's where we're at.
All right, we want to look at this. The estimated monthly payment under the SAVE plan.
SAVE. Oh, see, it sounds so nice.
SAVE
plan.
Looks at family size, 1 through 5.
Yeah, so they gave a nice example here of Alexander, which I can't believe they gave pretty, Alexander, that's a male name. You could have done Alex, and it would have been more gender neutral.
Yeah.
Could have been. But anyway, Alexander in their example here is a borrower with no dependents and makes $38,000 a year. They gendered him, would save $91 per month under the SAVE plan. So he should be paying $134 to repay his loan. But no. He only has to pay $43 because why have him pay what he actually loaned out?
Right.
Why do that?
So again, Katie, for those of the list of viewers at home just trying to figure out, okay, this sounds like a lot of money if you talk about where does the money come from again that they're trying.
See the bucket? We kicked it down the road. Do you see it? I can't see it anymore. It's so far down there.
Well, all they do is circumvent proper policies all day long. I think that's 3.
That's
today.
3.
4?
We got 3 so far.
All right. Still to come, Joe Biden vows to end legacy admission practices that allow wealthy families to send their children to prestigious colleges and universities. He's quickly reminded of being guilty of using his own name to benefit his family. We're going to talk about that irony next.
Today's episode is brought to you by FreedomProject Academy. Take back your kids' education. FPA's fully accredited classical curriculum provides live, on-demand, and homeschool courses built on Judeo-Christian values. Request your information packet and save 10% on tuition by visiting freedomforschool.com. That's freedom, F-O-R, school.com.
Joseph Robinette Biden. He's not very educated, despite the fact that he has college degrees. Naturally, then, of course, he wants to end all privilege in getting into college, except for his own family. David, I mean, really. After the Supreme Court did another heroic thing, and I say it's heroic because these days, politicians, justices, we don't know the difference. So we actually had the Supreme Court follow the Constitution again.
Yes.
And they ended affirmative action. It's been a decent past couple weeks here for sanity.
Yes.
So, huzzah. Well, once that affirmative action kind of was put against back on the colleges being like, you can't do this, the Supreme Court says so, Joe Biden got involved and he vowed to look into practices like legacy admissions.
Okay.
Ooh. That he said only served to expand privilege instead of opportunity. But wait, Joseph, what happened in your own family? The Washington Free Beacon reported that President Biden was part of a concerted effort in 2018 to pressure the president of the prestigious University of Pennsylvania to accept his granddaughter, despite the school's 5.9% admissions rate and her less than stellar grades.
I'm sure that's an understatement.
Oops.
Less than stellar grades.
Maisie Biden. Then decided, I'm going to text daddy. And who's her daddy? Hunter Biden. Oh, great. So daddy's Hunter Biden.
Oh,
grandfather is Joe Biden.
Oh, boy.
You know where this is going, everyone. Well, she tried to circumvent the entire admissions process.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
And as did the entire Biden family. And we know it because they have some text messages. So when it started was October 31st of 2018. Maisie texts daddy, who's probably having a couple snorts just before this. Now, she said, I applied early decision to Penn today. And then just a couple days later, asked if he could provide Dad an update on the status of her application. Joe then texted Hunter on December 13th saying, going to try to see University of Pennsylvania, President, I think it's Gutman, what a name, tomorrow. 2 days later, they followed up with, had a great talk with Gutman. Maisie's still in the game for regular acceptance, but must do well in class this period. It's real. We should talk about tutors, etc. starting tomorrow. Well,
isn't that preferential treatment?
What
are we talking
that's
about
just
here?
That's just the way it rolls. If you're Joe Biden and Hunter, they via text messages threaten people and do all their business dealings because they're not smart enough to know that if you're going to do like illegal activity or shady activity or unethical activity,
but it doesn't matter,
morally irresponsible, irrepressible activity, you shouldn't do it in text message form. But they don't care. They don't know this.
They don't care because
they're educated though.
Yeah, according to the media, there's nothing to see here.
There's
Move
nothing
along.
to see
it's
here.
just the
Nothing.
Bidens, just the Biden crime family. Just
keep
move
on
along.
moving, right?
Yeah, nothing to see here. They're protected.
So it continues. So then Hunter relayed the news to his daughter,
Maisie,
adding that she could potentially elevate her application if her lacrosse coach, like the sport of lacrosse coach, got involved to reach out to the coach at Penn and express her interest in playing there as well. Did we not have an entire investigation involving Lori Loughlin? Yeah, from Full House, and she went to prison. Didn't she go to prison? Someone went to prison. Felicity Huffman, where their college, like these colleges, they had their daughters go to these sports teams and like lacrosse at University of Pennsylvania. It's a sport no one really knows that much about. Sorry, but no one, it's not high profile.
Not sorry.
Yeah. So, we're going to go back end on this and get her a sports scholarship? Ugh. Anyway.
They too tried to circumvent the application process. Yeah.
So then Hunter texted his daughter and said, instead, why are they not having conversations in person? Because
they don't probably see each other that much.
This is true.
So, yeah.
So Daddy said, I also think it would help if you had your lacrosse coach talk to their lacrosse coach. Bottom line is that Gutman, the president, made clear that in order for her to explain the 11th grade you had to show improvement in 12th. So Maisie must not have been that great of a student, which is something I think we would have all liked to know from the start, because he can't text, from the start. But in fairness, we were much later in the app process than usual and made it look like we weren't 100% about Penn. So now Hunter is trying to explain to his daughter how bad she is for not having good grades and not being like looking like she's 100% committed. Hunter, are you going to explain to your daddy how bad of things you have done yourself? This whole family, it goes from generation to generation of them not doing well. But here we go.
Continue.
We're not done yet.
All right.
Several months later now.
What happened?
Here we go. Joe Biden got good news from the Dean of Admissions. They should expect a call from the University of Pennsylvania President Amy Gutmann before the final acceptance results were posted on March 29th of 2019. Maisie Biden started at Penn that fall. That's great. The story could end there. But
there's more.
Wait, there's more. The Biden's family ties to Gutmann did not even begin there. So it's not even like, oh, we were like, oh, I'm Joe Biden, I'm so powerful, I'm going to flex a little here and go talk to the president. It's like, no, I already know the president of the university. We're all chaps. The Penn president had been the one to award, when Joe was vice president, an honorary doctorate back in 2013. And in 2016, she had met with both Joe and Hunter several times. Oh, this is great. So nice. Isn't that nice?
What does honorary doctorate mean? That means he didn't go there?
Yeah, correct. It just means he gets a doctorate. Yeah.
Just a gift.
Just a gift.
There you go.
Here you go. It's what it does.
You've earned it.
But then,
Not.
I mean, if I'm going to keep scratching your back, you got to scratch mine a little here, David.
Okay, so what happened?
So then we have in July 2021, after Joe is now president,
Okay.
he appointed Gutmann to a rather nice ambassadorship, one in Germany. So she was confirmed by the Senate 6 months
maybe
later.
It's Gutmann. Maybe it's Gutmann. Maybe he's German.
Yeah. Gutmann, yeah.
Gutmann.
Maybe also gut. It probably is Gutmann then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had to find someone
Gutmann.
with a German-sounding name.
Sure.
It's probably Gutmann. Gutmann.
Maybe.
I say gutless.
I
Anyway,
speculate.
This is how the Biden family operates, forever and for always.
So, and again, nothing to see here. Move along. Katie, my question is, we're going back to 2018, 19, 20, 21, 5 years ago. Why are we just now? See, I did the math.
You did the math.
Oh, I'm racist.
Why are we just finding out
racist.
a lot of
things? I just counted on my fingers.
So proud. Hey, you know what? It's better than Joe could do. It's better than Joe could do.
So why are we just now hearing about this?
Because we can only hear about things when it doesn't matter anymore.
When someone
doesn't matter.
Squeaks out a few facts that the media covered up at that time.
Yep.
I'm so tired of the Marxist media always carrying the water for Democrats. It does get discouraging, but this is the time we're living in now.
This is true.
This is what they do.
And when we come back, the Fragile Boston University school law students are offered therapy sessions following the recent decisions handed down by the Supreme Court. But not to worry. It appears our future legal system is apparently in the most sensitive of hands. Stay with us.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Therapy. Therapy, I tell you. David, do you need some therapy?
Always.
All
yes.
right.
What kind?
The kind that is offered at Boston University for their law school students. Because after hearing about the Supreme Court's rulings recently, which we've been talking about all episode.
You gotta be kidding me.
Law students. The Boston University Law Student Government Association made a statement, and they sent it out to their law students. I'm going to keep railing on this because it's not their freshmen or their sophomores. These are law students. They've been through undergrad. They are law students. Really? After the 3 rulings by the Supreme Court, the Student Government Association sent out a statement saying that the kids could get therapy if they needed it. All right, so the rulings, and we've only talked about 2 of the 3 today, but the Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard, right? The 303 Creative LLC versus Alanis, I think it was, and Biden versus Nebraska. Now, those are rulings on affirmative action, religious freedom, and the student debt forgiveness. And we've talked about 2 of the 3.
Yep.
Now, the stupid statement by the SGA, as it's called, began by lambasting the Supreme Court's decision in the Students for Fair Admissions case.
Oh, brother.
Which, again, declared that race-based affirmative action in college admissions is unconstitutional. And according to them, The assenting judges went so far as to say that the race-based admission system uses race as a negative and operates it as a stereotype. They may couch their opinion in legal jargon, but we all know what this opinion aims to do: advocate for a colorblind admission process. Yeah. Yeah. Just yeah. Because guess what? It should be based on merit, not on the color of your skin. Clarence Thomas wrote a very clear concurring opinion with the majority, Justice Roberts, right? Like very clear, concise, to the point, like beautiful. On the dissent, we had an opinion come from Ketanji Brown Jackson,
KBJ,
who very specifically was nominated because she was a black woman. It wasn't based on her skills at all. This is what Joe Biden did with Kamala Harris. This is what he did explicitly with, what's her name?
KBJ.
Okay. Thank you. So she, in her dissent, wrote this. She starts, this isn't even starting off. This is like halfway. Boy. This is like halfway through her thing.
Get the buckets out.
But,
just preparing
I will just kind of, I will not read the whole thing. But she starts with, let them eat cake obliviousness. Today, the majority pulls the ripcord and announces colorblindness for all by legal fiat. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yes, yes. But deeming race irrelevant in law does not make it so in life. Well, we're talking about the law. This is what the Supreme Court does. They look at the law.
Yep.
They view it, is it constitutional or not? And that's it. It's not based on their opinion. You can read all the way through, blah, blah, blah. She talks about ostrich-like things, whatever. And at the very end, she says if the colleges of this country are required to ignore a thing that matters, it will not just go away. It will take longer for racism to leave us. And ultimately, ignoring race just makes it matter more. Ignoring race just makes it matter more. Okay, so you must focus on race all the time, in everything.
When she says...
So says the KKK. Thank you,
when she says...
Ketanji Brown Jackson. You agree with the... KKK.
No one benefits from ignorance. Is she referring to the justices who voted in opposition to her as ignorant?
She's ridiculous.
No, I mean, I mean, we're not surprised. We're just pointing this out in case you haven't heard it in the news. They're off-the-wall reactions to a governing body doing their job, really. And
she's a member of the Supreme Court, and this is the level of thought that she has in what she puts down on paper.
Well, that was what
this is what she's teaching the law students.
It's what she was appointed and selected to do, Katie.
And this is what you're going to get at Boston University. These are your future lawyers. One of these people who are getting their therapy at Boston University could be a Supreme Court justice. You wait. Mark my words. But we're going to move on. A person's chances of winning a major lottery are approximately 1 in 14 million, or in Ketanji Brown Jackson's case, you can less than that. I guess you're even better. But one mathematician has defied the odds to win the jackpot. I'm not even going to tell you how many times. You stick around.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how many times he won without breaking a single law. That's next.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
How to beat the lotto? Millions of people would want to know. Well, meet the Aussie who won the jackpot 14 times.
Come again?
14. So, as Katie was saying, and by the way, he took home $30 million.
That's it.
Katie was saying a person's chance, there it is, mathematician Stefan Mandel.
First, the 2,500 Australian investors chipped in $4,000 per share to create a lottery fund called the ILF.
So let's play lotto. Our first number is...
Then they retained the services of Stefan Mandel, the winningest lottery player on Earth. His computer-driven system had already won $25 million around the world.
How does Mandel's system work?
Essentially, we covered every possible combination.
There were no rules at the time that would prevent block buying. A person could buy as many tickets as they wanted. In reality, I really never would have imagined that anybody would have ever wanted to try to buy it out. It never happened in the United States, but the very idea of spending over $7 million to buy all the shares in the lottery just seems preposterous.
Preposterous? Stephen Mandel's gotten rich dealing in the preposterous. In this case, that meant buying 7.1 million possibilities at $1 a pop.
Theoretically, anybody can buy all the possible combinations. Any high school boy or girl can calculate those combinations. Nobody has ever developed a logistical system to lodge such a large amount of play slips.
Well then, interesting.
Yes.
So he came
bought
up with
shares.
Yeah, so
of
he
the
came
lottery.
up. He won his first lotto in Romania, moved to Australia, started to win there, and then was able to get a group together because they kept changing the rules on him. Because they're like, wait a minute, how's this guy doing this? So they kept changing the rules and he kept finding loopholes, basically. So he got that group of people together to help them win. And then he came to the U.S. for Virginia, where he found that it was only like $1 a ticket. And so
7.1 million possible number combinations for Virginia.
Guess how many tickets you buy? That many with with his combos.
Yep.
And then they win more millions than that. And it's just fascinating that he used his brain to calculate this and figure it all out.
A mathematician. So he convinced 2,500 investors to pool $2,500 each. And in 1992, the jackpot reached 27 million. This was, I believe, still in Virginia. And he and his team purchased every single ticket, as you heard from the clip. He said, I knew I would win 1 first prize, 6 second prizes, 132 third prizes, and thousands of minor prizes. And his total profit was in excess of $30 million. But, oh, Katie, there's a but. People are going, no way. It resulted in a 4-year legal battle. And it was the CIA and the FBI were involved. And laws were still changed to outlaw his technique, but he ended up going bankrupt. I have no idea how.
Yep.
But anyway, this is,
interesting. Do your math, kids. Learn your math. Follow the rules like he did. And as we know,
it's giving people
the
false
government's
hope
still going to get in the way.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You could, at least for free here, you don't have to spend any money. You could like this show. That would be nice of you.
Comment, share.
You could share. It's all free.
Follow.
Hopefully the government won't get involved, but, well, we never know, right? Now, don't forget, as well, check out Freedom Project Academy for the fall, especially for our math classes. You're going to learn a lot, let me tell you. You could be the Stefan Mandel. Yeah.
Well,
go to freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com. It'll get you all started. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay educated.